Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to the daily call of His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj. Today is a very auspicious day. Today is Bhadra Purnima, very special day. So today Maharaj will enlighten us on the glories of Bhadra Purnima. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, my obeisances, Revati, and to all devotees. Panchakalpatarubhischa, Kripa Sindhu Bacha, Hitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
There is Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, verse number 43.
Okay, I'm sorry, Guru Maharaj. Chapter
1,
okay.
Canto 1, Chapter 3. Canto 1, Chapter 3, verse 43.
Okay, Guru Maharaj, please take over. Hare Krishna.
So, as was mentioned by Mother Revati, this today is Bhadra Purnima. It's a special day that is set aside for the mass distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is also a very auspicious day to receive Bhagavatam on this day and to gift others with the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the best of all scripture. It's the culmination of all philosophical knowledge, condensed in the essence of your devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna, which is the essence of all Vedic topics. And so we'll read from one verse from the third chapter, verse number 43, which is quoted quite often, which helps to illustrate the position of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Swadharma Bhagate Dharma Janari Saha. Kalonastadrisam meso puranarko dunoditaha. This Bhagavad Puran is as brilliant as the sun and has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Lord Shri Krishna has his eternal dham, abode, where he internally enjoys himself with his...
Guru Maharaj, we can't hear you. I'm sorry.
You can't hear me?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I think my internet connection is unstable. Very sorry about that. Yeah, please go ahead, Guru Maharaj. I'm sorry.
I'll begin the purporting. Did you hear the translation?
No, Guru Maharaj. No.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, we heard you, Guru Maharaj, reading it.
I'm sorry. I think it's my side. Yeah.
Yeah, Mataji, please scroll down. Thank you.
Okay, I'll begin with the purport again. Lord Shri Krishna has his eternal dham or abode, where he eternally enjoys himself with his eternal associates and paraphernalia. And his eternal abode is a manifestation of his internal energy, whereas the material world is a manifestation of his external energy. When he descends to the material world, he displays himself with all paraphernalia in his internal potency, which is called Atmamaya. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he descends by his own potency, Atmamaya. His form, name, fame, paraphernalia, abode, etc., are not therefore creations of matter. He descends to reclaim the fallen souls and to re-establish codes of religion, which are directly enacted by him. Except for God, no one can establish the principles of religion. Either he or a suitable person endowed by him can dictate the codes of religion. Real religion means to know God, our relationship with him, and our duties in relationship with him, and to know ultimately our destination after leaving this body. Conditioned souls who are entrapped by the material energy, I lost that, who are entrapped by the material hardly know all of these principles of life. Most of them are like animals engaged in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. They are mostly engaged in sense enjoyment under the pretension of religiousness, knowledge, and salvation. They are still more blind to the present age of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, the population is just... If you keep moving it and I get lost, leave it in one place. Okay. In Kali Yuga, the population is just like royal addition of animals. It has nothing to do with spiritual knowledge or godly religious life. They are so blind that they cannot see anything beyond the jurisdiction of the subtle mind, intelligence, and ego. But they are very much proud of their advancement of knowledge, science, and prosperity, material prosperity. They can risk their lives to become a dog or hog just after leaving the present body, where they have completely lost sight of the ultimate aim of life. The personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, appeared before us a little prior to the beginning of Kali Yuga, and he returned to his eternal home practically at the commencement of Kali Yuga. While he was present, he exhibited everything like his different activities. He spoke the Bhagavad Gita specifically and eradicated all pretentious principles of religiosity. And prior to his departure from this material world, he empowered Srila Vyasadeva through Narada, compiled the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, and thus both the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam are like torch bearers for the blind people of this age. In other words, if men in this age of Kali want to see the real light of life, they must take to these two books only, and their aim of life will be fulfilled. Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the sunam bonum of life, or Lord Krishna personified. We must therefore accept Srimad Bhagavatam as a direct representation of Lord Shri Krishna. One who can see Srimad Bhagavatam can see also Lord Krishna in person. They are identical. Taksun militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Panchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhupe Bacha. Hitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnavi Bhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This verse kind of highlights the essence of the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam in relationship to all Vedic knowledge. Here it says that real religion means to know God, our relationship with Him, and our duties in relationship with Him, and to know ultimately our destination after leaving this body. This sentence alone has so much knowledge in it. So people ask, well, what is real religion? Here it is. Real religion means, and we use the word real because religion goes on in different aspects of itself, and it talks about different things. But the essence of religion here, or the essence of the meaning of religion, is to know God, our relationship with Him, our duties to Him, and what will happen to us after we leave this body. Everything that was the essence of religion, and that can be found in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is called Amalam Purana. That means it is pure. That means it doesn't contain any other aspect but pure devotional service to Krishna. Comparatively speaking, we find that many religious scriptures who herald even some of the glories of God also mix in material benefits for the practitioners to attain, along with practicing devotion to the Lord. This is called mixed devotional service, or karma mishra bhakti, or jnana mishra bhakti, yoga mishra bhakti, bhakti mixed with other principles. But artha, kama, dhamma, and moksha, which are mentioned as the four main activities of the conditioned souls in this world. Artha, kama, dhamma, actually it's dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. And taken consecutively, people perform pious activities. Based on pious activities, they attain some kind of material benefit from that. They use that material benefit in order to satisfy their senses. When they reach a type of dissatisfaction that comes with focusing on sense gratification, then they want moksha, or they want liberation, salvation. So these four activities comprise the essence of the activities of the conditioned souls. But Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental to these and does not give any credence to that. Therefore, in the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Dharma projito kaitavo paramarani matsararam satam. Dharma projito means to kick out or to remove. And dharma kaitava means cheating. That religion that goes on in the name of devotion to the Lord, but emphasizes and also glorifies other aspects of spiritual attainment and along with material benefits. But Bhagavatam is pure. It's coming from the words of an incarnation of Krishna himself, and that is Srila Vyasadeva. Bhagavatam, if you take, Bhagavatam is Vedanta Sutra, which means the essence of the Vedas, and translated into Brahma Sutras, and then ultimately given in the verse by verse, given by Shri Vyasadeva himself, comprising 18,000 verses, all in relationship to the process of glorification of the Lord in pure devotional service. Bhagavatam, as it mentions, if you go to the second canto, 10th chapter, verse number 1, 2:10:1, I believe, yeah. 2:10:1. Verse number 10. And here we go. Atar sargo vili sargos stana posanam utayaha manvatare sanukanta niroda mukta asraya. So here, this verse lists the 10 subject matters that make up Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami says, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following: creation of the universe, subcreation, planetary systems, protection by the Lord, the creative impetus, the change of Manu, science of God, returning home back to Godhead, liberation, and the Sunam Bonum. So here it mentions these 10 categories, and this is what Bhagavatam comprises. And of course, the essence is the Sunam Bonum, which is pure devotional service to Krishna. And all of these others support the ultimate goal. So Bhagavatam is everything. Everything you need is in Srimad Bhagavatam. As Srila Prabhupada illustrates, that if you practice reading Bhagavad Gita, you'll understand the basic principles of spiritual life. But Bhagavatam begins where Bhagavad Gita leaves off and takes one into the realm of devotion to the Supreme Lord in his different manifestations of incarnations, and culminates in the 10th canto, which is Krishna in Sri Vrindavan, which is the Sunam Bonum, as is mentioned here, the highest aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the most perfect is Shri Krishna in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Devotees should carefully read and study the Srimad Bhagavatam and learn the Bhagavatam. Everything you need to know and all subject matters are covered in Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, what Sri Vyasadeva wrote down will be very difficult to understand because we do not have the adhikari to understand such higher knowledge. But by the grace of an incarnation of Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has inspired the Sankirtan movement, he has empowered his representatives to speak and give the science of Srimad Bhagavatam in a more easily understandable way, and that culminates with Srila Prabhupada's purports in Srimad Bhagavatam. In one lecture, Srila Prabhupada says, every subject matter that is there is covered in Bhagavatam. Art is covered, science, architecture, politics, economics, sociology, even ecology. Everything is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, and also higher knowledge of the spiritual realm. And as it says, knowing our relationship with Krishna. Everything is there in Bhagavatam. It's a lifetime study. Those who focus on Srimad Bhagavatam will understand what is devotional service and will find great joy and happiness in execution devotional service. Bhagavatam is Krishna in literary form. The verse we just read in the beginning of our class today illustrates that point, that when Krishna left the planet, he left himself in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati illustrates that point in a very graphic way by explaining how the different cantos pattern the different sections of the Lord's transcendental body. For example, he says the first and second canto are the 2 feet of the Lord. And then as we approach the Lord, always through the lotus feet, and then we go higher up his transcendental body. The 3rd and 4th cantos are his thighs, and then going up different parts of his body. And the 10th canto is the smiling face of the Lord. The 11th canto is his forehead, and the 12th canto is the top of the head. So using that analogy, we can understand that there is no difference between Krishna in his transcendental form as Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam. And as Prabhupada writes in the very beginning of Bhagavatam in the 1st canto, the Srimad Bhagavatam has come in order to create a revolution in the misguided lives of the present civilization. And he said the present civilization is misguided and people in it are misguided. Here is the solution to all problems. Here is the way to achieve perfection in life. All the knowledge is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, and we shall have, by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, we have it explained to us in an easily understandable way. And that's the mercy of the great souls, that they take this highest knowledge and explain it to us according to the essence of that knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada was expert at that. He made his service to give Srimad Bhagavatam to the world. He did it at a time when no one was awake. Prabhupada would close his day at about 10:30 in the evening, take a little rest, wake up around 12 or 12:30, 2 hours later, and begin translating the Srimad Bhagavatam, giving the word for word, giving the translations, and ultimately giving the Bhaktivedanta purport. Prabhupada worked tirelessly wherever he was in the world, despite the fact that he traveled to 25 different countries in less than 14 years. In less than 12 years. And at the same time, not only did he travel to 25 different countries, but many of the countries he traveled to many times. So he went to every continent around the world, but he never stopped his translation of Bhagavatam, even while he was traveling. And so you can imagine the sacrifice that Srila Prabhupada underwent in order to give us this great knowledge, because here is explained when Krishna leaves, he leaves himself in the form of Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada said each and every one of us should have a set of Bhagavatams in our home, and we should read it regularly, study it, understand it, and know how to apply it, and ultimately develop our spiritual qualities and devotional activities based on the knowledge given to us by Srimad Bhagavatam. As it was mentioned in the beginning, today is Bhadra Purnima. It's a very special day. The devotees around the world have designated this day to to herald the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone who gives a Bhagavatam to anyone on this day, anyone who receives a Bhagavatam on this day, gets great spiritual merit. There are many programs around the world. I am familiar with one program that is going on in the UK, especially coming out of Bhaktivedanta Manor, where they have a goal of giving 600 Bhagavatam sets to different people. This is a 1 month program. Each of the different temples around the world have taken a quota in order to distribute that. So those of you who are connected with the UK, you can still connect. I was listening to a class this morning by Murli Manohara, was talking about this whole program, and they still want to. I think they have a goal of another 39 or 40 sets of Bhagavatam to give to others. So take advantage of it. And if you had a chance, go to Bhaktivedanta Manor if you're living in the UK. Otherwise, if you're not, check in your local areas and see what programs are going on in receiving and gifting Srimad Bhagavatam. Because you're giving Krishna, you're receiving Krishna in the most wonderful, amazing form of transcendental knowledge. So our whole process of devotional service is based on the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam as explained by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. So let's take advantage of this day and glorify Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam, and make it a regular daily affair. Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam Bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in Srimad Bhagavatam and by service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious within the heart is practically destroyed, and loving service unto the transcendent Lord is established as an irrevocable fact. So Bhagavatam is very powerful. It's good as Krishna himself. So if we practice chanting the Hare Krishna mantra as much as we can and read Srimad Bhagavatam, everything we need to know, everything we need to rid ourselves with in terms of the things that block our Krishna consciousness, everything is included in these two processes. Chant the holy names and hear and read Srimad Bhagavatam daily. Bhagavatam is the best of all.
No, we can turn off turn off your audio, please.
Yeah, yes, I muted. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, thank you for explaining us the essence of this Srimad Bhagavatam. So you explained us about like real religion. Real religion means to know about God and our relationship with Him and our duties and what will happen like after leave this body. So all this is found in Srimad Bhagavatam. And also mentioned like Srimad Bhagavatam is like Amala Purana, spotless. It is you explained about like dharma kaitava, like cheating dharma. So Srimad Bhagavatam is so pure, so coming from Vyasadeva, and it's like essence of all Vedas. So it's very important for us to read Srimad Bhagavatam. And you mentioned like everything what we need is like it's found in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have to just do chanting and read Srimad Bhagavatam. Whatever obstacles we have in devotional service, everything cleared. Thank you for explaining us this essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please have any questions, comments, or any realizations, please you can unmute or you can type in the chat box or you can raise your hand. So Guru Maharaj, like while devotees thinking about question, okay, Mataji, please go ahead, Sridevi Mataji.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept our most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for this explanation. We all know the importance of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. We hear so many beautiful verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and yet to form the reading habit is such a difficult task. Why is it that we have so much reluctance to form a good habit like reading Srimad Bhagavatam? Is it our causeless unwillingness to do it, or there are some preliminary purification that one needs before one can seriously study the Bhagavatam?
We find as technology develops, people are more inclined to do things through the electronic media. Therefore, the reading program in people's lives has diminished. Although it's not diminished considerably, but it's diminished significantly in the sense that people are more interested in the visual and then the audio than the reading. And another reason is when we have a tendency to make our daily activities, we don't put reading as a priority, and that's the problem. So in order to overcome these things, we have to schedule our reading of Bhagavatam every day, just like we schedule other things. It has to be scheduled in. If we don't schedule it, you don't get sidelined like it always does. Because we have this unconscious awareness, or maybe even conscious awareness. If I don't read, I can still go on and do everything else during the day. In other words, reading becomes an optional thing rather than a regular feature of our daily activity. So it's just the wrong mindset. In order to overcome it, you put a time in for reading Bhagavatam every day and you stick to it. And you'll develop a taste after the reading. And then once you develop a taste, you look forward to that time when you'll get to associate with the Bhagavatam.
Sridevi Mataji, have any further comments, questions?
What
I think Mataji's internet.
How do you develop a taste? By doing it. Just read, and the taste will come.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Mataji got disconnected. I think Mataji will join back. Meantime, we can take up a questions. Any devotees, any questions, further questions or clarifications?
Sridevi's back.
Yes, Sridevi Mataji is back. Yeah, Mataji, you're disconnected. Yeah.
Sorry, my internet went out. Guru Maharaj, am I correct when I hear the last part you said, it's important to read in the association of devotees?
I didn't even say that, but yeah. That's also a way. Association with devotees means at least one other person. You have
Okay. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. I couldn't get the last part very clearly.
Yeah, so if we read at least with one devotee, that should be helpful, Guru Maharaj. Stop reading by ourselves.
It doesn't mean if you can't find one person to be with, you shouldn't read at all. No, you read alone. But if you read with another person, then you'll find it becomes easier and more enjoyable.
Okay. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Devotees.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Mataji. So devotees, any questions? Any comments, clarifications? So Guru Maharaj, while devotee is thinking, so I have a question. When it comes to distributing Srimad Bhagavatam, I heard in one of the lecture, like it should be distributed only in the devotee community. Is that
No, that's not true. We distribute Bhagavatams on the streets when we do book distribution.
Okay, so we can just distribute to anyone. Yeah, okay.
Why not?
Mhm. Okay, very much. Yes.
Why would we relegate it to just, devotees? Bhagavatam is for everyone.
Mhm, mhm.
There are people who have received one volume on the street and then they think, oh, there's more to this. So they look to get another one and another one. Pretty soon they have the whole set.
Mm. Okay, good, Maharaj. Yes, yes. Yes, thank you. Susanna Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Srimati Mataji. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. You. Thank you for this lecture today. And I was wondering, I appreciate prison preaching very much, but I was just wondering, I live very close to two prisons, actually. It's north of the capital city in Hungary. And is it possible to distribute small books alone, or how should I could bond up with other devotees as well, but very few live nearby. So from Budapest, I don't think they will come out and do this, but I would be happy if I can somehow contribute, but I'm not sure how to, and I'm begging for your mercy. If you allow, maybe I can do something.
Your concern is how to distribute books?
Yes,
Well,
because it's obvious that, you do prison preaching. I moved into an area where I can't daily go to the temple. My reading is very low because although I live with someone, it's not a devotee, so I must try to improve my reading by preaching, I'm sure.
yeah. If you read, you'll preach more, and if you preach, you'll be inspired to read. So when the knowledge becomes more a part of you, it's a natural propensity to want to share that knowledge with others. And then you think of ways of doing that. So see what's going on in your area and try to connect with something. Maybe something you can feel, a part of. I know in Budapest there is a lot of preaching going on. And you just have to see where you can, where you can fit into that whole scheme. Otherwise, you can, I mean, you can, if you want to do it yourself, you can get some books and just go out on the streets and sell books that way.
And what's the situation regarding prisons? Can one go alone and maybe try, or just
I
shall
don't
I
think,
begin with an email, or
if you're not doing anything right now, I wouldn't start with prison preaching.
okay, sorry,
That's
was
a
an
little,
idea.
it's a little bit complicated to actually get it going. I mean, see if there's someone else who's doing it, and then connect with them. Or on your own, I would just say you can do book distribution through different groups, or you can do it yourself. Many devotees, they grab some books, buy some books, and go out. And if you're sincere and you're trying hard, Krishna will empower you to do something.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's not based on our own efforts, it's based on the mercy of Krishna. But we have to make that effort in order to get the mercy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Mother.
you very much.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Devotees, any questions? Any further questions? So Guru Maharaj, I have a question. Like I was reading this verse 13, like where translation, Prabhupada's translation mentions like if on the full moon day of month of Bhadra, when one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift. So golden throne means, how should we understand that? Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, there's these little golden thrones, they make them. You can see it at Bhaktivedanta Matter. You go to Prabhupada's Vyasa-san, he's got the Bhagavatam on a little golden throne. Yeah. It's just, it places the book in onto these little golden thrones.
Okay. And also, Guru Maharaj, when we distribute a book, so feeling with you, you're distributing is also important, right? Like when you give a book, so your intention, your like you want benefit the other person is also is something important, because if we distribute a book and it will become more fruitive if our intentions are not right. Is that right understanding, Maharaj?
Well, it's nice to have the proper understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. You're trying to give Krishna's mercy to the condition in the form of this knowledge.
Okay.
If you think like that, and you also pray to Krishna to inspire you, it's fine. You're not out there for yourself, you're out there for them.
Okay.
Krishna's representative, what you have is very valuable knowledge which can change their lives.
Mm. That's good, Maharaj. Yes.
Just see yourself as a representative of your spiritual master.
Mm. Okay. Yes. Yes. Devotees, thank you, Guru Maharaj. Devotees, any questions? I would humbly request, if you can possible, please turn on your cameras. And any further questions, comments, it will be nice to, I would encourage.
Yeah, give people time to think.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes, I don't see any questions. Good Maharaj, maybe devotees are thinking. So Good Maharaj, like, oh yes, I see a hand raised. Yes, Namrata Mataji, please go ahead. Mataji, you're on mute. Sorry, we cannot hear you, Mataji.
Krishna.
Yes, now we can hear.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, when we distribute or ask for purchasing Srimad Bhagavatam to anybody, they always, not always, but many of them, they ask if they have the summarized version. So, how can we tell them that, should we recommend them or should we ask them to uh, read the whole entire Bhagavatam only?
Well, I think I wouldn't start with that. I would encourage people to read the Bhagavatam. If they give some reasons why, then you can introduce the summarized version. But I would start off with the essence.
Okay, so we should encourage them to read the entire one, the 18,000 verses.
You just start off with giving them one volume of Bhagavatam, first canto. It's not that you have to encourage people to read the whole Bhagavatam. The idea is just somehow place Bhagavatam into their life. And the Bhagavatam will do the rest. For devotees who are initiated, yeah, then we say, but for people in general, if they can somehow or other be inspired to take up the reading in any situation, then that is a great merit. For the non-devotees, no. Whatever they can handle.
Okay, we can even give them the first canto first.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah, Sridev Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
I'm stuck again.
Hare Krishna, Sridev Mataji. I think Mataji. Yeah.
You mentioned in the beginning, that dharma, artha, kama, and moksha is nothing to do with service. So then these four purusharthas, do they come under the category of karma, fruitive activities, karma yoga?
They're the activities of the conditioned souls. Not moksha. Moksha doesn't come under karma. Yeah, everything, all the first three are under karma. Yeah. Moksha is to get out of the cycle of karma.
The
We're
four
not,
purusharthas.
we're not interested in moksha. We're interested in engagement with devotional service to the Lord.
So moksha is liberation.
Say again?
So moksha means liberation.
Uh,
Moksha means, don't you know what salvation means, or liberation?
So that means the four, Sarupya, Samitya, Sayujya, those are the liberations we are talking about here when it comes to moksha.
For the conditioned souls, they usually interested in Sahudra. They don't fall into the category of the bhakti liberation, no. They're interested in only emerging into the focus of the Lord, into the body of the Lord. That's the type of liberation that is the liberation. That's what goes on in the material world. It's also material. Because it's something that the soul desires for their own benefit. You have to understand, bhakti means that which is for Krishna. Anything for me falls under the category of karma.
yes, Mataji. Is that okay? You have any further questions?
Actually, I do have a follow-up question, Guru Maharaj. So I hope this is not taking us away from the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, but when we talk about the 4 goals of married life, for example, Mother Jagannath Ishwari, she has written a whole book on this 4 goals of married life, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. What is the relationship of these 4 activities with bhakti? Nothing, right?
No, they're not connected to bhakti at all. No. The activities of the conditioned souls.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Srimati Mataji, please go ahead.
I think Susanna Mataji has raised her hand before me.
Yeah, because Susanna Mataji, is that okay? You can come back because since
Sorry.
No problem. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances always to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for this glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, Guru Maharaj. I heard in many lectures that we have to serve Srimad Bhagavatam. So what is meant by serving Srimad Bhagavatam? I never understood it properly, Guru Maharaj.
Bhagavatam is Krishna.
Yeah.
Serving Srimad Bhagavatam means to hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day.
Okay.
Bhagavatam is literary form, so literary form means to read, to hear. That's serving Bhagavatam. That's all. Coming in contact with Bhagavatam means to serve Bhagavatam. By reading about this pastimes of Krishna and the activities of the great soul, that's all serving Bhagavatam. Because it lifts our consciousness up towards the spiritual realm. It purifies our consciousness, it awakens our desire to serve. And so we should not separate reading from service. We think that reading is not service, it's service.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Even though I know the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam and the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam in our lives, but a little bit reading part is a little difficult, Guru Maharaj, sometimes. But I'm trying to read at least 3 times or 4 times a week like that, but not able to read daily. That's the main struggle with me, Guru Maharaj.
Well, we wish you the best.
Okay, Guru Maharaj.
Do it. I mean, if that's such a hard thing, then what about the rest of life? It's much-
Yeah.
So yeah, just schedule it. Schedule it and don't change it.
Yeah, I'm taking help of devotees to have a combined study, so that
That's right.
yeah, so that we can have a regulated time to meet and to read Srimad Bhagavatam, Guru Maharaj. I'm trying.
That's very, if you plan like that, you'll, at least if one of you fall off, the other ones will remind everybody.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely we'll get a call. We'll get a missed call or something, text or yeah. And one more question I have, Guru Maharaj. So in past 2 years, we gifted Srimad Bhagavatam to some families, but they are not devotees, but they are little bit inclined towards the Bhakti Yoga, but they are not still started reading. But how to encourage them, Guru Maharaj? Like they are not into Bhakti, they are not chanting.
Just ask them, ask them, what have you read from Bhagavatam today? Don't ask them if they're reading, just ask them what they read.
Okay.
That's a reminder.
Yeah.
It's hard for non-devotees to appreciate such scriptures because it's way beyond their understanding. But still, we give them a chance because we make devotees from people who are non-devotees. So we give them all the opportunities that we can possibly give them so they can somehow or other come in contact with this great knowledge. So yeah, so we shouldn't get discouraged.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Today also we are planning to give one Srimad Bhagavatam set to one devotee Mataji here. So please bless us, Guru Maharaj. Today we are going to install in their house Srimad
Yeah,
Bhagavatam.
that's nice.
So
Wonderful service.
please bless Guru Maharaj so that we can actually glorify Guru.
Tell them that this is the Bhagavatam is like a deity, like having the Lord in your home in the form of a deity.
Yes.
It's a deity.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
The more we develop our own attraction for Bhagavatam, the more we can explain the glories of Bhagavatam to others. We have no attraction ourselves. What will we say to others? You know?
That's true. That's true.
So develop that attraction. Mohanasani Radha, what are you cooking there? You're making a salad?
Actually, yes. I'm just picking some tomatoes and I'm doing some puffed zucchini and potatoes.
Okay. All right. Send it along when you get it done.
Okay.
Thank you. Guru Maharaj, we have 2 more questions here. Susanna Mataji. Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. It's just a very short story about Srimad Bhagavatam being on the shelves. Really, our deities. Because I was very young, I was living together with someone who had Srimad Bhagavatams on the shelves, and I was a cleaning maniac at the time too, and I cleaned the flat regularly, and that's how I became a devotee or want to be devotee. So I think that it's very important that the book itself are on the shelves of people who might be open to study the books. So
Yeah.
brothers just want to study.
A lot of times, using your example, a lot of times people who have the books are not the ones who benefit from it. It's other people who come in contact with it. Yeah, wherever it is, it will do something because it's Krishna. Nice story.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that. Thank you. Sridev Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji.
Guru Maharaj, you said that receiving the Srimad Bhagavatam today or giving the Srimad Bhagavatam today, the blessing is that one will go back home, back to Godhead. I have a question about that. I ordered a Srimad Bhagavatam set by making an online payment, and it didn't come today. It came a few days ago. I mean, it's coming. So will I get the same benefit, Guru Maharaj?
Any other questions? Just be happy and read. That's all. Okay, we're running out of time here.
Yes. Five.
So wherever you are, investigate and see which programs are going on and see if you can distribute some Bhagavatams to some fortunate soul.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, Srimati, I just realized that tomorrow is a full day for me, and I thought I would be able to do the class, but after re-examining the schedule, I can see it's not going to be possible.
Okay, Guru Maharaj.
So tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday, I'll be off. Tuesday, I'll be back.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Tuesday, we have a different group class. Guru Maharaj, you sent me the email, September 13th.
Oh, yeah. And that's all about Bhagavatam, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
Guru Maharaj. Yeah, Glories.
Yeah, so the 13th is make that notice to all the devotees.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, all Vaishnava Vrinda ko jai. Hare Krishna.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
very much, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare
Thank you very
Krishna.
much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, all devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I'll end the call.